morning all of you. So in the previous video we had discussed with the fundamentals of management information systems. So that fundamentals are related to what is management information system, for what purpose the information systems are used in the organization, and types of management information systems. All these we had discussed in the previous videos. But in this video we are going to discuss about database management systems. So why the need for databases has been arised in the organizations, in the sense because of volumized data in the world, volumized data that is collected throughout the world. So because of this necessity only, the database emergence has been arised. So in this video we are going to discuss about the fundamentals and the concepts behind the database management system. So this we shortly call as our database. So here we have some basic terminology that's there related to the Dbms, database management systems. So first, what is database exactly? So database is nothing but a collection of information. So collection of information in the sense, generally the information comprises of tables, figures, facts, all and so on. So many are combined in case of information. So if you are dealing with such information, that information here we are collecting as a database, and these tables again organized as columns, rows and cells. And the next concept that is related to the database is tables. So tables is nothing but it's completely a view that displays the information in the form of rows and columns. So generally the row is nothing but a record and the column is nothing but a field. And here the cells contains the bits and pieces of data for each record in each field. It means, so generally we will call the row as a record or entity or tuple. But when you come into the column, each column represents the attribute of a record. For suppose one student is there, so the student nominal number, his age, his place of birth, and the specialization that he enrolled, all these comes under the column. But the entire details of a single student means all the columns related information of a single person is called as a record. So that here we are calling as a row. And the next concept, that is field name. So field name is nothing but it identifies the different categories in a database. So it means field names, what is the first name, last name, middle name, city, state, zip and phone number, all these called as the field names. So one field name is nothing but a column. And next one is field. Field is nothing but categories in a database. Whatever the fields are there, generally these fields are displayed in the form of columns. So for example, in a database, zip field contains all the zip codes from each of the records. These are the bits and pieces of data. So if you want the entire zip codes of 50 number of students or 60 number of students, so that are maintained by the field only. So that's why the categories in a database is called as a field. Next one, what is a record? So the related information that is separated by columns or field is called as a record. As of I told you earlier, so whatever the attributes that are there in the database, that all attributes combinedly called as a record. So suppose a person is there or a student is there. A student nominal number, name, area of living, phone number, Aadhaar number, all these are called as a fields. Entire information related to all the fields of a single person is called as a record. A name and address are considered as one record in the database, and a second name and address are of a different record. Cells. The intersection of column and row is nothing but a cell, as of all you know. And the data, so all of the records of information, it means, so let's say I want to collect 100 number of students details, 100 number in the sense 100 records. All recorded information is nothing but a data. So name is equal, so data plus field names is equal to records, and all records is equal to a database. And what is object? So generally the objects enables you to find something that you want to track. Like if you want to find something, if you want to view something related to the data, if you want to display something related to the data, and if you want to print some data or some concepts related to your field, so then you are going to use the concept of object. So it completely based on your needs. It's not based on demand or nothing. So it completely based on your need, you are going to collect the information. And the most commonly used objects in DBMS are tables, queries, forms and reports. So generally the table shows all records in a spreadsheet format, and if you come to the queries, it allows you to ask some questions related to your doubts. And forms, so it displays only one record at a time. And if you go for reports, it will give you and organize the data in a well presented manner. So these are the general 4 forms of object you can see in DBMS, that is database management system. So have a look at this. So this complete details of 5 students is called as a data, or you can call it as a database also. So this is a table which contains some rows and columns. So you can see generally 4 columns. First column is roll number, second column is name, and third column is course, and fourth column is address. So here we can call the each column as a field. Okay, and if suppose I want to know the round details. So the entire round details, his roll number, his name, his course and his address. The entire information of a single person is called as a record that you can see here. And the collection of rows and columns is a table. And if you want to go for only a single cell, that is nothing but a data value. And so here one complete column is called as a field. So these are all the basic concepts that are related to the database management system. So hope all of you understand this. What is a database, what is data, what is record, what is field, and what is field name, and what is object also. So all these are to be familiar when we are going to deal with the database management systems. And next one, what exactly the database is about. So the DBMS is generally a software that is packaged, designed to define, manipulate, retrieve and manage data in a database. So if you want to store some data, if you want to manage some data, if you want to collect some data, and if you want to organize that data, so all these activities combinedly called as DBMS, database management system. And another definition for DBMS, it is a collection of programs that manages the database structure and control access to the data stored in the database. So in today's world, we know the authentication is compulsory for any data, because so many fraudulent activities are going on in the internet. So that's why you should be careful about your data. So in order to make your data safe and secure, first you have to decide to whom I can give the access and to whom I cannot give the access. Such settings should be done in the case of DBMS. So that is done by the database management system. It completely controls the access of your system and what type of the data you can store and what type the data you can make in a secure manner. All these are set in DBMS. And next one, so when you go for DBMS, it generally manipulates the data itself. It means if any connections are there, automatically it does its own way. And the data format, field names, record structure, file structure, entire things are validated and manipulated by the DBMS itself. That is another beauty in case of database management system. And it also relieves the users of framing the programs for data maintenance. It means there is no need of going for writing a program or writing a code for data maintenance separately. So it is inbuilt in case of DBMS. All these are the basic concepts which are related to the DBMS, which defines how exactly the DBMS is going to be work. What are the DBMS softwares that are generally available in the market? So here we have listed only 5 DBMS softwares or DBMS examples that are available in the market. So MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, Dbms, Fox Pro. These are all the DBMS that are generally available. What are the objectives of DBMS? Why we have to go for DBMS? And what are the basic accomplishments and basic things that we can done with DBMS in a sense? The main objective of database management system or database approach is to make information access very easy, fast and relatively inexpensive and flexible for the user. It means as of you know, so the world is running on www, that is W3. World Wide Web. So if you want to cope up with the market, if you want to cope up with the competitive world, you have to make your work and make your things very smarter and easy. So DBMS is such one, makes your work and information access very fast and easy. And it is also inexpensive when compared to the other softwares that are available in the market. And it is also flexible for the users to work with the DBMS. So that is the main objective of using of DBMS in the organizations. Apart from that, controlled data redundancy, enhanced data consistency, data independence, application independence, easy of use, economical, recovery from failure. So first one, controlled data redundancy. It means it completely eradicates the redundancy of data in case of database. It means so duplication of data is there. So that duplication of data is completely eradicated by using the DBMS. Second one, enhanced data consistency. Means once you store the information in the database, it will going to be save it in a permanent manner. And data independence means you can maintain separate data in different data in different folders, and you can maintain it in your own manner. And application independence, it means you can run many softwares or many programs at a time in the DBMS. That is also possible, and it is very easy to use when compared to the other softwares that are available in the market. And economical, it is inexpensive and flexible to use. And next one, recovery from failures. So as of all you know, backup will be there and you can retrieve the data at any time. So that's why you can recover the data from failures or natural disasters also. It is possible in case of DBMS. So these are all the main objectives of why we have to go for database management systems. What are the functions of DBMS? So first one, data organization. It means you can organize and you can make your data in a well-defined manner by using the DBMS. And second one, data integration. So all related information, all related data you can put on one umbrella. So that is data integration. It means you can link up one data with another one and you can available it at a particular place. And third one, physical or logical level separation. It means based upon the design of the data. So here you can see physical level and logical level. So and you can also separate the data based on these two levels. So that is also possible. And next one, data control. It means so what type of data I can store, what type of data I can remove, and what type of data I can update, and what type of data I can manipulate. All these are well controlled by the DBMS. That is another function. And data protection. So data protection is completely in the form of access, and you can allow access to the authorized person, and you can also deny the access to the unauthorized users. So that these are all the main functions of database management system. First one, data organization, data integration, physical or logical level separation, data control and data protection. So what are the advantages of DBMS? Improved data sharing, improved data security, better data integration, minimized data inconsistency, improved data access, improved decision making, increased end user productivity. So these are all the advantages of going for DBMS. And next thing, coming to the disadvantages, what are the main disadvantages of DBMS? First one is centralized database. It means, so centralized is nothing but one access point will be there. From that access point only you have to retrieve the data, and entire authority, regulating, monitoring and done are all done by a single authority. So in such cases you have to take care of your data. It's not possible, there is no privacy for your data because of it is centralized data. It means the centralized database, if you want to access any information, in case of centralized database, if you want to access any data from anywhere, you require some login credentials. So if login credentials are there, you can access. But if you are not an authorized person or authorized accessor, so then you are not allowed to access the database. So because of this centralized database, it occupies more and more space. And second one is more disk space. So most voluminous and more data will come into the picture. So if more data will come into the picture, and in the sense you have to be in a dilemma which data should be saved and which data should not be saved. In such cases, you saves the entire data. So it increases the volumized data in your system, and there will be a problem of space in the disk. So that is the another. More disk space is required for controlling and accessing and saving the data. And operationality of the system. Why the operationality of the system is a disadvantage in case of DBMS in a sense. So generally if you download or if you install a software in the system, generally it will go for asking you about the updates. So when you denied or when you delayed of going for updating the system, so it won't work for the newer versions. Only it will work in the older versions only. In such cases, some operational issues may arise. So that is another disadvantage. And security risk. So you should be very careful when you are using of database. You should be very careful of using of access and giving of access to the unauthorized persons. So if there will be a chance of theft of your data, so that is another security risk. And next one is increased cost. So if you want to install and if you want to use the DBMS in the entire organization, it is little bit tough and little bit manageable, little bit expensive to incorporate it all over the organization, and it increases the cost of the project or increases the cost of the work that you are going to done. And next one, frequent upgrade or replacement cycles. So normally if you are using a software or Android related programs or Android related system, that will ask you for the upgraded versions. So if you for example, let's take your mobile phones. So in your mobile phones you have WhatsApp, you have some OTT platforms all will be there. So if any upgraded version will available in the market, so generally in your mobile it will gives you notifications that for so and so application some new version is available. So if you update it to that one, so you can run in the newer version. Otherwise your phone will run in the older versions, and sometimes it may not support the options that are there in the newer version. So you are not updated. So in such cases, it acts as a disadvantage. So that's why frequent upgrades is one more disadvantage in case of DBMS. And next one, traditional approach. So when we are talking about the DBMS, database management system, first of all we have to learn about the traditional approach. What is the traditional process that is carried out in the organizations? So what are the disadvantages that are there with the traditional approach? So in order to overcome the disadvantage only, the modern approach or DBMS approach has been raised in the market. So first we will look into what exactly the traditional approach is about. So normally if you go for previous years, it means long back, 15 years or 20 years back, so all the work is done in a manual manner. Manual in the sense in the form of papers. So it is difficult to save the papers and difficult to secure the papers. So in case of any natural disasters or in case of fire accidents, earthquakes, floods like that, so there is a chance, there is a risk of losing the data. So in such cases, they had think and they had gone for the newer approach, that is nothing but the modern approach, that is DBMS. So here the traditional data files developed in and maintained separately for individual applicants, the file processing system relied on piecemeal approach of data across the organization. It means previously when you are going for the organizations, HR department will goes on functioning in one manner, and finance department will go for functioning in one manner, and marketing department will function in another manner. So like that their system and management system is different, and these function or finance department management system is different. Like that they will go for collecting the information separately also. So this entire traditional data file system has arises some problems. So what are they? Data duplication, data consistency, lack of data integration, data dependence and program dependence. What is data duplication? Suppose I am maintaining the employees data. So let's say the HR department is maintaining the employees data. So what is the name of the employee and what is his salary and what are the requirements that he possesses. So generally the salary payment is done by whom? Finance department or accounts department, right? So when this HR department prepares the entire details of the employees, they will include the salary also. So the same data should be used by the finance and account departments. But these HR people will not share that information with the finance and accounts. They will maintain separate file and they will go for preparation of separate data related to the employee salaries payments. So in such cases, the same information will locate at two places. So this will lead to the data duplication. It means same type of data will contains in two different places. That is the data duplication. Data inconsistency. It means irregularization of data. It means, so if two files are there, one file is updated and one file is not updated. So in such case, there will be a confusion which one is appropriate and which one is inappropriate. So that is the data inconsistency problem. And third one, lack of data integration. So here you know, so they will maintain separate files for separate functionalities. In such cases, there is no scope for integrating the data all over the organization. So when all these departments comes together, like finance, accounts, marketing, sales, HR, production, all these departments come together, then only there will be a possibility of integrating the data. So that is lagging in case of traditional approach. And data dependence. It means, so whenever you are going for work or retrieval of data, you have to depend on some other person in order to retrieve the data. So that data dependency is there. And program dependence. So based on your code, based on your program only, the data capturing, data collection, data sharing, data retrieval, entire actions are dependent. So all these are the problems that are arised in case of traditional approach. Okay. So in order to overcome these problems, we stepped into the modern approach. That is the DBMS, database management system. Okay. So before going for database management system, that is the modern approach, so first we will look into the objectives of database. So these objectives of database are the general objectives of database management only. Already we had discussed this: control data redundancy, enhance data consistency, data independence, application independence, easy of use, economical, and recovery from failures. Already in the previous minutes we had discussed all these. Okay, so these are all the general things that you can learn in the traditional approach. So in order to overcome the problems that exist in the traditional approach, we come across the modern approach, that is nothing but the database management system. So that database management completely overcome the problems that are there in the traditional approach. Data duplication is not there, data inconsistency is not there, lack of data integration is not there, program dependency is not there, data independence is not there. All these are all overcome in case of DBMS, that is database management system. Okay, so this is about the fundamentals related to the database. What is database, what are the basic concepts that are there in the database, and what is the traditional approach, and what are the objectives of DBMS, and what are the functions of DBMS. All these we had discussed in this video. In the next video we will discuss about what exactly about data mining and data warehouse, and what is about the knowledge management systems, and what is different languages that are used in case of DBMS, that is data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language. All these we have discussed in the next video.